Live workout. We're gonna get started training with Indian clubs or Indian swinging clubs very quickly. You can learn this fast. This is easy. One of the best exercise for building strength in your forearm, in your grip, in your shoulders, taking care of a lot of the pain that's in the shoulders, healing those, healing the elbows from my experience. But I want you to get started quickly. You can start with a pair of sticks that are about as long as your middle finger to your elbow. Or if you have a pair of Indian swinging clubs, I'll put a link in the description if you need to buy a pair. You can get them online, they're very inexpensive. These are 2 pounds. I suggest if you're a beginner, 1 pound or 2 pounds to start with this swinging exercise. You can also get heavier swinging clubs or Indian clubs for a little bit different kind of exercise, but we'll go over that after you're no longer a beginner. So you're gonna put your finger here, the pinky finger, in the middle of that ball. The hand closes around it. You're not squeezing so much that it's cutting off circulation and changing the color of your skin, but it's nice and firm, so it's not gonna fly out of your hand. You have one in each hand. You're gonna put your heels together, pull your stomach up and in, abs tight, your toes kick out, kind of like a duck, and your warm-up motion here is gonna be just swinging and allowing the weight of your Indian swinging clubs to pull your arms back behind your body. I'm gonna show you from the side. Just a real simple motion. Heels together. Doesn't have to be fast. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. That's the truth of all these types of exercises. This is gonna improve your strength. It's gonna improve your cardio. It's gonna be good for your whole body. Your whole body is engaged here, especially as you're pulling your stomach up and in, abs tight. Tuck your chin a little bit, breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And after you do that for about 30 seconds to a minute or 2 minutes, you're now gonna just split that swing, which is gonna increase the stretch. So you're gonna move even farther in this range of motion because you've split the motion one hand at a time. It comes farther back there behind your back, behind your head. You're gonna feel it more in your shoulders as you're warming up. As you get started training with Indian clubs or Indian swinging clubs, I'm gonna focus on the basics first. After you've done this, I'm gonna have you separate your feet. Your heels are still in, the toes are still out a little bit like a duck. You're gonna go back to that first swinging motion, and this time, as they come back, I want you to add a little drop squat. So push your hips back behind your knees, like you're sitting into a chair. You don't have to go that deep. A little bit's enough, but you're gonna start to build power in those legs. Start to lean your body out faster. Again, each one of these exercises between 30 seconds and a minute. Stomach up and in, abs tight, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. This will start to force you to breathe heavier, deeper, getting more oxygen everywhere, burning more fat. Now the next motion, I'm gonna have you bend your elbow. You're gonna drop, so your palm is facing the sky. You're gonna bring it back and bring it forward. So you're coming forward, spinning in this orbital motion, one in each hand, heels back together, toes out, stomach up and in. Good evening, Alita, good to see you. Miles Gaming, nice to see you. Going forward. Electric Dogs here from the Netherlands. After you go forward for a while, you're gonna reverse it. Tala George is here. Hello, Tala, nice to see you. Just pulling it back. You're gonna be stretching out your forearms, your wrists. Everything's getting stronger. Your forearm's getting stronger, your hands are getting stronger. Everything in your whole upper body is engaged as you pull your stomach up and in. Tala says, happy watching you. Wish you a funny, happy time. Same to you. Thanks for being here. Bob, good to see you. Bob says, great teacher, good instruction. Really appreciate that. Your heels are back together, toes turning out. As you get started with your Indian swinging clubs, we're gonna add that spin here, and you're gonna drop it, and then you're gonna spin it and bring it back. So we're going back to your first motion, adding in spin, getting started with Indian swinging clubs will improve your overall fitness from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head, and especially your grip strength. If you are a self-defense person or a martial artist, a boxer, a fighter, you're gonna hit a lot harder. You're gonna be better able to defend yourself, better able to fight back for self-defense. Your hands will move faster, and you make contact, and generate a lot more power, knockout power, for self-defense. Or just do it for fun, do it for fitness, get yourself back into really good shape. Now we're going to start our mill with the club, same way in each hand. Marit is here. Good to see you, Marit. You're going to bring it here and back to start, just in. Think about hitching a ride. Your thumb goes out, your palm is facing behind you. The hand comes in through your center line, cutting in to this motion, and then we're just going out. So you're going to come in and out. You have the club in your hand, half of your finger is cutting, or your finger's cutting half of the ball. The thumb is down, don't put the thumb up. This is wrong. That'll break your thumb if you make contact. So it's down. You bring it in, bring it back. Get really comfortable with this motion first. Then, once you're here, open your elbow to open the chest. So you pull your elbow to the side. And then you're gonna throw or cast your club. Don't let your hand come open. It will come out of your hand. You'll throw it, but you're gonna push it out, bring it in, open, across the body. 1, 2, cast. 3 simple motions. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast means that the transition between each motion gets shorter as you become smoother, and that's how you pick up speed. You don't pick up speed by muscling or making yourself go faster. You pick up speed by getting smoother in the motion. After you've done one arm, you're going to start the same thing, just this opening motion, the first motion, out when you are comfortable with this. And you also want to make sure that this is going to the side, not here, but here to the side. It's funny, we have some trolls here tonight. Bounce the trolls real quick. So we're going out, bring it in, open, and cast. 1, 2, 3. It's funny how the trolls never use their real names. That's how you know a troll when you see them. They have some silly name. In, open, cast. That's the true sign of a coward. We were talking about a man who was a news story, a gentleman, I think it was in Texas, 74 years old. He pulled into some set of storefronts, like a strip mall. Some young lady had just cashed her check, and she was walking out. It was the only money she had. Criminal comes up, tries to rob her. He jumps out of his truck, intervenes, tells the man, hey man, don't do that, this is wrong. And I said to my son, that's what a man does. He uses his real name, he's not a troll. That's what a man does. Then the criminal proceeds to pull out a gun. Old man fights him. Criminal's pistol whipping him. Old man's beating the snot out of this punk. He eventually gets in his truck and steals the old guy's truck, but not until he takes a pummeling. So 2 things to learn from that story. 1, that's what a man does. You stand up for others. And 2, stay fit. Stay healthy and strong. One of the most annoying comments I get is that old people can't defend themselves. You just don't know the right old people. All old people can stay in shape, get in better shape. And this, getting started with Indian swinging clubs, is probably one of the best things you can do. Alita, let's see. Great to see you. Thank you so much for that super chat. Kia Janae Hamilton says, have to run errands. We'll watch on replay. Thank you. Blessings to you too. Jason says, study Wing Chun. I didn't go to the set with the center line. Yeah, Wing Chun has a center line. We can do a little bit of Wing Chun here. Maybe we can do the machine punch. Haven't done that one in a while, but we can work that one in. Heels here, stone coming in, abs tight, tuck the chin. You're gonna now do one hand followed by your other hand. Alternating. You'll do this as you get started with your Indian swinging clubs for about 30 seconds to a minute, 2 minutes. Then you'll move on to doing them at the same time. And as you go through at the same time, one hand will be in front. This is your right hand. The other one with your left hand inside. Shivang says that this is the Indian style. There are many different styles. This is more of a modern style, Persian. There's so many different ways that we can use these Indian swinging clubs, or basically a weighted lever. That's a weight on a stick. You can, I don't know why I didn't show you this, but you can use a hammer. That's a Husky hammer. This one is a rubber mallet. Weighs 16 ounces, or no, I think this is 24 ounces. You can do everything with this one. You can do all of your swings with this, the same way you can do this, and this one's about 13 bucks, 12, 13 bucks, and you can pick these up anywhere. Is there a Turkish style? There's a Turkish style, there's an Indian style, or like from Bangladesh, India. There's Persian style. They're all a little bit different, just like the martial arts. These kind of predate most of the martial arts. You know, this is a self-defense tool. This is a weapon of war. It's a stick with a rock tied to the end. This is a hatchet. This is a war club. It's just, it's a basic self-defense tool. Or offense tool, however you want to look at it. But we're using it for fitness, for better health. So we're at this, hands, one hand in the front, the other hand in the front. I'm going to do this 30 seconds to 2 minutes, alternating which hand is in the front. Play around with the rhythm a little bit. You can either go kind of a quick swing, or you can highlight or emphasize different ranges of motion, different heights. When you cast, this is the cast, you let it go out. So you can do it here close to the shoulders. You can do it here higher than your head. You do a little bit under your shoulders. And you'll feel it all through your shoulders. Your shoulders are gonna get so strong, so powerful. For self-defense, if you hit, if you chop, if you strike with a tool, if you grapple, if you grab, if you pull, if you push, all of those strikes are gonna be so much more powerful. All those grappling techniques, if you do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Judo or wrestling, Shiram in the Korean style, what's the Sambo? If you do any of the Krav Magas, any of the self-defense styles, if you box, everything's gonna be so much harder and faster. Shivang says it's strength training. Strength is, I think it's not strength so much as stability, activating all of the muscles, speed, power. Power is when you take your strength and your speed and you put them together, that force that you can generate. So it's not like I'll show you. Like that's a 45-pound dumbbell, right? So you can stand there and curl, you do your hammer curls, you do these curls, you do inside curls, and you can build your muscle. But then you'll just have big muscle, and you're not gonna hit any harder. In fact, you'll probably hit less powerful. You'll hit it with less power, with big muscles, because you'll move too slowly. This will unlock your speed. This will allow you, when you hit, to hit with more fluidity, to move through that chain from the bottom of the floor to the top of your head, through your hands, through your spine, because your core is engaged, your muscles are engaged. When you just lift weights, you get more strength, but this gives you more power, more stopping power, more knockout power, breakage jaw power for self-defense. So we did a single mill on each hand. We did alternating, and then we did it at the same time. Now I want you to reverse it. So you're gonna pull your hand, palm facing back, bend that elbow, bring it through center line, cut it. You're just gonna, it's the same motion you did here. You're just going in the reverse. So the first thing you're gonna do, like we did before, do that a couple times. Then when it's out, bend it in. One hand, the other hand, get started swinging Indian clubs. Then you can alternate. You can do them at the same time. And then I want you to, every once in a while, separate your feet and throw in a set of squats. Now you're not gonna find this in the Indian style, the Persian style, or the Turkish style. You're gonna find this in the exercises we do together to build power in your legs, all your strikes. So this channel, predominantly I teach self-defense. Fitness is a big part of self-defense. Like in the thing I was telling you earlier with that 74-year-old man down in Texas who protected that young lady and stood up for something that he believed in, even though he was in grave danger himself. And then when he was presented with a deadly threat, instead of just recoiling and taking the shot, he immediately struck the man and took away his ability to use the tool that he had by just he just pummeled this guy. And then the guy stole his truck, and he can always get another truck. He can't get another life. And could he have done something else? You know, called the police, retreated, whatever? Yes. But he saw a young woman in distress, being attacked, physically being harmed, and he immediately, without any thought, he went in and he did what was right. He acted like a man. That's how men do. That's what men do, right? And we can argue all day, was it smart, was it stupid? It wasn't a conscious thought on his part, I think. I think it was because of who he is as a person. It was his wiring as a human being, doing the right thing. He saw something wrong and he addressed it. My point is, he was physically strong enough to smash this young punk in the face over and over. And he got bloodied, he got beaten up pretty good too, because the guy was smashing him with his pistol. But he survived. Minor damages to him, minor injuries. He'll get a new truck. Hopefully people in the community will raise funds if they can't get his truck back right away. But he was able to defend himself and this young lady because he stayed in good shape. Now he looked like maybe he was a laborer, like a worker. I don't know, he might work out in his gym the way we're working out right now. He might even use Indian swinging clubs. I don't know. He might use a rake. He might use a hand trowel. He might use a tool. He might use a hammer. He might be a bricklayer. He might be a plumber. He might be, he might work in an office, but then keep his house up, do his own work around the house. He might be a stockbroker and then go to the gym every day and keep himself in shape. He might do martial arts. I don't know. The point is, it doesn't matter how. The point is that he is in good shape. These will get you in good shape, which is why I teach these on this channel. It's one of the best things that I've ever done for my shoulders. I used to have I've had doctors tell me I have torn rotator cuffs in both shoulders. I'll have to have surgery. I'll never, gain that. I'll lose mobility. And I've avoided it. And I have no pain in my shoulders. And I had MRIs when I was younger in the military that showed the damage in my shoulders, but they feel fantastic. I don't know, and I'm getting older and older, and they get better with each year. And I'm not a doctor, but I'm telling you, I think it's because of these. And I think you can get really strong too. All right, so back to adding these squats. Not only is this going to engage your leg muscles in a way that are going to build some strength and power so that when you strike, you're going to hit so much harder because all your strikes come off the floor. But it's also going to release precursors of the hormones that, like testosterone and other things that keep us lean and keep us younger as we get older. So you're going to get that anytime you engage those big leg muscles. And by adding these small weights, and the swinging motion, you're gonna allow yourself to do more than you could just doing regular squats. And of course you can go to the gym and do weighted squats at the gym, but that's a totally different kind of exercise. All right, the next thing I want you to try with these is with your elbow in, you're going to block your head, bring it around and back down. So you're just going to do a shield cast, and this is where you can bring in a heavier club. This is Onnit brand. It's a great brand. They make nootropics for your brain, like mushroom mixes and stuff. I never really got into those, but I love all of their fitness equipment. I think Joe Rogan was a big fan at one point. So heels together, that's how I think about it. Toes out. This is just basic self-defense that you do in traditional style of martial arts. So from here, blocking motion, allow it to come around and bring it back down into your hand. And because you're not swinging through this whole range of motion, and I wouldn't do this from the start if I hadn't been doing this for years and years, I'd never have you start with 5 pounds doing a mill. But I would have you start with 5 pounds just swinging, or you can also do that with this 10 pounder. And Onnit makes them up to, I don't even know how heavy they get, but they get pretty heavy. So you can start here, bring in, or bring up your shield, and down. And you're not gonna have 2 clubs in the other hand. You'll have the other 10 pounder or the other 5 pounder. Or you can just put it down. And as you do that, you can also do that with these lighter clubs. You're gonna turn your body into the turn, into the swing. So this is your left hand. Your right shoulder is gonna come forward as you come into this blocking motion. And then you're gonna allow it to travel behind your head and bring it in. I've always found it's easier to learn if you do one hand at a time, let that rest, bring this one in, make sure you're turning. I'll just whack myself in the shoulder there. One of my favorite instructors, most of the people that I recommend, I've never met. Just like you, I watch them on the YouTube and I learn, but there's a guy named Mark Wildman. I always thought it was Wildman. I think he can't be called Wildman, that's too cool of a name. It's like a superhero name. He's gonna turn into like the Beast and like He's a big beastly dude, young guy, but it is wild, man. So if you look him up on here, he does a lot of stuff with the light, but a lot more with the heavy. And then there's the Flowing Dutchman. Some of you guys know the Flowing Dutchman. And totally not my style, but I learned something every time I watch those guys. And I'm the first to say, you know, everybody learns it from somebody. Everybody learns it somewhere. And you should be okay with that. You weren't born doing it. If you were born doing it, then you'd already know how to do it. But if you go and check out Mark Wildman, I'd check him out first just because I think fundamentally he's more sound coming from like a physical therapist background, I think. I assume that's what he does. I haven't looked into it that deeply. I didn't even know he did these. I always followed him for the kettlebell stuff. And then he has these neck exercises that amazingly release all of my tension in my neck. And I do them on my own, but I'm not gonna teach those here because he does a much better job with that. And I'm more of a beginner novice with that. But if you want to advance your skills after you're no longer getting started with Indian swinging clubs, I would go check out Mark Wildman's channel and eventually the Flowing Dutchman, and just see what and then there's also like the famous dudes, the Russian guys. I think they're Russian or Turkish maybe. Pavel, I can't ever remember their names, but they do all the old man strength kind of stuff using maces and clubs and stuff like that. But I wanted you to be able to get started with your Indian swinging clubs, doing some basic stuff. So once you've done your mills at the same time, and you've reversed your mills, and then alternating at the same time, then I would like you to start trying to work in this lifting motion. So starting with the elbow in, and just do your shield cast. And this is a light shield cast because your clubs are so light. But this is one, because I know some of you have gotten the heavier club bells or the heavier Indian swing clubs, and you want to start to up your game. Two things: try this cast, and then go check out Mark Wildman and see all the things that he teaches. I believe he's also a martial artist. I saw he was training like years ago, like Jack Black. I think he's like out in maybe Hollywood or California somewhere where he's a trainer to the stars kind of guy. Anyway, it is so hot in the garage today. It's like 100 degrees outside again. So that's where I'm gonna have to cut it, just because I'm pouring sweat. I'm about to lose these. I won't really, my grip's strong, but I'm getting sweaty and overheated. So I'm gonna go in and pound some water before I go to sleep, and I work overnight. I'll work tonight again, the night shift, which I worked the last 2 nights, and it's weird, your brain just isn't a fog. If you work the night shift, put that in the comments. Give me any tips you've got for, it's been years. I used to do it when I was in the Marine Corps as a military policeman. I loved the night shift in the desert. It was like the best place to be. But those were 12-hour shifts, and I was a kid. And then when I was living in the martial arts school, I helped a friend out with a security company, and I did night shifts for him for like 2 years. But again, I was a kid. I had no family. Now, with family, the night shift is just brutal. So, and I know some people have to do that and they don't have a choice, or some people like it. But if you have any tips, put that in the comment section. One thing. Sorry for that racket. I wanted to show you, if you practice with the nunchucks anytime or at all, Indian swinging clubs will improve your nunchuck handling skills dramatically. So, I like to warm up with the Indian swinging clubs. Oh, by the way, someone told me the other day, I think I was like doing this in reverse in a class, and online, one of the online classes, and they were just adamant about it's illegal. They didn't say illegal, but you're not allowed to do it in reverse. It's only forward, or maybe it was the other way around. But I'll say this, it's like a circle. You can go one way and you can go the other way. So you can go forward in this hand transfer, or you can go in reverse, and you should be able to do both. If you practice with your Indian swinging clubs, it's going to make you so much better with all your other martial arts skills, whether it's a long stick, short stick, 2 sticks with a chain or with a string, you'll be able to do that. All right, thank you so much. Yeah, Michael King says blackout curtains and earplugs. I took a nap today, Michael, in my daughter's room. She was singing songs, playing stuff. The fan was on, the lights were on, the window was open, and I was so tired I still slept. But it was a miserable sleep, to your point. I could have used the blackout curtains and some earplugs, and, maybe the little eye thing. But it's just temporary. I'm not gonna do it forever. I just did it so that I could continue to work on other things, rebuilding my martial arts school during the day and rebuilding my business during the day so that I can do this stuff at night. Anyway, Siobhan, good to see you. Thanks for subbing, I appreciate that. Alita, thanks again for that super chat. Holloway's idea says nice, thank you. Ryan says he wants his pins back so he can finish his bowling match. They do look like bowling pins, so that's a legit joke. Alan Lux says, what does one really know? That's very zen. Absolutely. Gumster Productions says, keep grinding. I love grinding. And sometimes I grind so much that I forget that I should be a little bit smarter about what I do. So I'll say this, I've been grinding since I was a kid, and I'm 53 now. And I think at some point I would have learned you need to grind. You need to put hours in. You need to work. You need to do the reps in order to build a skill. There's no question. But you also have to be kind of smart. Resident Evil AMC says hello. Carolina Camargo, good to see you. Resident AMC subbed. Carolina or Carolina. I know Carolina, I call it Carolina. I was at Carolina or Carolina, but I'll say Carolina. Thank you for subbing. Roland asked, are the movements or muscle memory useful for weapons? I'll say absolutely, 1000%. And if yes, which ones? Kali sticks or Eskrima or Nice. These are the same. You can do a lot of the speed drills like the Sinawali. This is a basic Sinawali pattern where you would increase the speed of your strike. So then when you put your sticks in your hands, you can hit so much harder. Same thing with the nunchucks. Same thing with a bow staff. Same thing with a sword. Same thing with the walking stick for self-defense. Same thing with the tanbo, the short 18-inch Japanese stick. Same thing with your hands. Just, a knife strike, a punch, a slap, a chop, a hammer strike, an elbow, forward, backward, up, down, diagonally, however you want to do it. All those are going to be so much faster and more powerful because of these Indian swinging clubs. Jason says, hi. Hello, Jason. Good to see you. Livy Peterson says, Jesus is king. He's the king of my life. I agree with that. We had such a great conversation. My daughter and I, she's 9, but she wanted to know if America forces you to be Christian or forces you to be one thing or the other. And I said, no, that's the great thing about America is that we have freedom of religion. It's one of the 3 pillars of the First Amendment: freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion. So I respect a lot of religions where people are very prayerful and walk their talk, live their game.